Sounds good.
I give him an extra one.
All right. All right, so welcome to Unzipped. I'm here with John.
Giordano.
Giordano. Yeah.
All right, you
I don't
got
want
it.
to butcher the last name.
No, you didn't butcher anything. You're doing good.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm here with John. Larry connected us. I'm very excited. I mean, you're an open book from what I've seen online.
It's an open book.
Yeah. I mean, there it is. So I just want to go down some topics that I have written down.
Go ahead.
The first one, I definitely want to touch into your rags to riches story. I just want to see exactly how that happened. Kind of.
Okay, I'm going to give you a brief overview of my life.
Yeah.
Okay. How much time do we have, by the way?
I mean, these don't take longer than 40 minutes.
Okay, good. All right, so here's my life story. My family was a mafia-type family.
Okay.
My father was a heroin dealer. My uncle was a hitman. My grandfather was a Shylock. Those are the guys that lend you money at a high interest rate and you don't pay.
Right.
Okay, they take care of you a different way. When I was 8, my father went to jail. And when I was 8 and a half, I got molested by some boys in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And when I was 9, I got molested by my babysitter. She was 14.
Okay.
And as time went on, I give you a brief overview. I quit school and I was in gangs when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Hispanic gangs, black gangs, Italian gangs, Irish gangs. I was in a whole bunch of gangs. Then I got into karate when I was 14 and a half, and I loved it. I got out of the gangs. It changed my life. And what I did was I became a karate champion.
Right.
And my uncle threw my wedding when I was 20. And I married a Jewish girl. Now, I'm not Jewish, of course. I'm Italian.
Right.
And they didn't want, anybody but Jewish to marry their daughter.
Right.
But they loved my family. That was funny. And anyway, so what happened was we got married, and her father was a lawyer, mother was in the PTA, and my family were racketeers. So when you have a wedding, you have the bride's side, and then you have the groom's side.
Right.
On the bride's side, they had pens and suits, and they were doctors and lawyers. And on my side of the fence, it was guys with guns and different racketeers and different business people. So my uncle was there, and he threw my wedding, and the caterer insulted him in front of the family. So he killed him the next morning.
Oh, wow.
So I had to leave town real quick with my new bride because the detectives were coming to my grandmother's house to arrest him.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that part of the story. Now, I quit school in the 9th grade, so I only went to the 9th grade.
Right.
And eventually I got my GED and stuff. And I trained in the martial arts for many years. I became very well known in the martial arts. I'm in a couple of Black Belt Hall of Fames and national karate champion and judo champion, jiu-jitsu. And I used to do collection work for the smugglers. And that's my other lifetime, by the way.
Right.
And I used to train one of the cartel's bodyguards. I did a lot of different things, okay? Selling cocaine and doing all that stuff. I got into recovery. My family did an intervention on me. I told you my family was. I'm wondering who's doing an intervention on them.
Right.
But that's another story. All right? So they did an intervention on me. And I went in. I figured I'd get everybody off my back. And what I wound up doing is I wound up having what you could call a spiritual awakening.
You took like ayahuasca or something?
No. This was a regular treatment center, Mount Sinai Hospital. There was a drug and alcohol treatment center.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to this treatment center, and I didn't even know what treatment was.
Right.
And I felt like I didn't need this. I just went in to get everybody off my back. So what happened was, I was sitting in group, and they say, well, you need to share, your deacons, what's going on with you. I said, look, if I have to share, I have to kill you. I said, so besides that, I don't even get high with you people. So I don't even know why I'm here. Okay.
That was funny.
So, and that's with that story.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know about you or anybody else out there that it was Christmas time. It was December 4th. Matter of fact, I'm coming up on 39 years in recovery.
Oh, wow.
I haven't drank drugs, smoke cigarettes, none of that stuff. Anyway, uh, I wanted to go home on Christmas Eve. I said I wanted to be with my family, but I was lying because I wanted to get high. So my friends used to come and give me Coke and my Christmas card.
Right.
You know, it was always snowing on my Christmas card. No. So anyway, what happened was they said no. I got pissed off, and I went. I punched the door, and I was so angry. I never emptied my suitcase, but my clothes was always in my suitcase because I was always leaving.
Right.
You know, I don't belong here. I don't even with you people. I don't even know who you are. Anyway, what had happened was I went in there and I was so hurt, so angry. Now this was about 3 weeks into treatment, so I started to clear up. But when I got angry, I didn't get angry. I got rageful, and it just didn't go away. All right. So, and I said to myself, I heard my therapist in my head saying, "John, you ever pray to God on your knees?" I said, "Look, I got calluses on my knees. I was raised a Catholic. That's all we did was pray."
Right.
So he says, "No, for humility." I says, "Give me a break. You mean God doesn't listen to you? How about if I'm in a closet? You think he hears me?" You know? He says, "Well, try it." So that was in my head. So I was in so much pain. I said, I'm going to try. So I went to get my knee down, and this is the funny part. I couldn't get my knee down. And I said, "What the hell is this?" So I finally pushed my knee down. That may sound strange to everybody, but that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then I pushed my other knee down. And then I said, "Whoever's out there, God, whatever, please take this away. I'll do whatever you want to do." It went away like it never was there.
Wow.
Now, like I said, I never experienced that before, and I don't know anybody, I don't know how to say it, but that's what happened. So, as sick as I was, I tried to get it back. All that anger, all that rage, it wouldn't come back. So that was my spiritual awakening in treatment center. Then I come out, and I just want to do is help addicts and alcoholics. And anyway, and this is my book, The Kid from the South Bronx Who Never Gave Up. And should I read the excerpt on the camera?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. And what had happened was I went into partners with my doctor and my therapist, and I had my therapist was working for me. I went in partners with my doctor. It's a long story. I'm not going to give you the whole story, but I got beat out of my treatment center, in plain English. And it broke my heart. I couldn't believe that happened because, I'm a kid from the streets. If you mess with me, I punch you in the face. But now that I'm in recovery, that was no longer an option. So instead of having a lawyer, which I didn't have, it just changed. They gave me the outpatient clinic, and instead of owning the whole thing, my therapist became the partner in the place.
Oh, wow.
It was one of those. So long story short, I got out of there. I won't go into details because I want you to get the book so it'll help you understand. Not that I'm selling a book. It's about helping people to get motivated. So meanwhile that I was in the treatment center and we were building it up, what happened one day, we couldn't make payroll. This is how it all came to a head. And I said, "What do you mean? We're packed. How can we not make payroll?" My friend who loaned me the money to open up the treatment center, which was $250,000, said to me, "They're robbing, they're stealing." I said, "What do you mean they're stealing? They're in recovery. They wouldn't steal." So I became sober and stupid. I'm a street guy. I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. Anyway, I walked into the doctor's office and says, "Are you stealing?" So he said, "I have a sex addiction," and I was buying girls, paying for girls, buying them apartments, all kinds of stuff, and we couldn't make payroll.
Wow.
But what wound up happening is my therapist at the time said, "That's too bad. That's not true." And nah. And if you don't give up your part of the company, we're just going to close it and open up a new company, and your friend's not going to get any of his money back. And so, long story short, that's what happened. Anyway, I was there. I had to do 6,000 hours. I went back to school. I got my GED. I went to college.
And how old are you at this moment?
I was 37 years old when I got clean. And so what happened was I went to school, And I got my GED. I got my CAP, which is they call the CAP, Certified Addiction Professional, and that's what I did. And what happened was my nose is. I think we got bugs out here. I don't know. Anyway, after I got my 6,000 hours that I needed of supervision, I had enough. I went into this guy's office. I told him I was going to rearrange his face, and a doctor could not put it back together when I got done. And I says, if you don't give me my contract that you're supposed to give me. So they gave me the contract. And I told him I was going to get my uncle after them, and they knew who my uncle was because he was in treatment there one time. So it's, oh, okay. So I got my contract, and then about 3 months later, I only got $80,000. They made millions of dollars. And I left, and my friend that originally gave me the money said, I have another guy that wants to open up a treatment center. And I said, okay. He said, but he wants a business plan. I said, I don't know how to make a business plan. He says, I'll do it for you. They made a business plan with my help, and I went up to see this guy. And the funny part about it, I forgot the business plan. I'm 2 minutes from the guy, and I'm in West Palm Beach, and I can't go backwards. I have to go forward, so that's what I did. And I told him, look, I'm embarrassed, but I forgot the business plans. He threw a napkin at me. He says, I don't need a business plan. Write down what you need the money for and what's the ROI, return on investment, and all that kind of stuff. I said, okay, I wrote it down. So he gave me another $250,000, and we opened up a treatment center, and it was very successful. I didn't know he was a corporate raider, which is somebody who gets somebody who knows what they're doing in the company, lets them build it up, and then takes it out from under them.
Oh, I see.
So I did the same mistake again. I didn't have a lawyer.
Shit.
So anyway, long story short, this whole thing happened. He said, you're fired. I said, you can't fire me. I'm your partner. He said, no, read your contract. Well, he could fire me. Anyway, I don't know what $80,000 is, but I got another $80,000.
Right.
All right. And then I wound up working for an indigent program, 55-bed facility. I was the clinical director. And it was for people that were homeless, people that had HIV, and people that had a psychiatric diagnosis.
And you're still down here in Florida doing
Yeah,
that?
I'm still in Florida. And I wound up being the clinical director for that. But it was kind of silly. It was they call it, it was a kind of program where they put you in the middle of the room, they break you down, and then they build you back up. All I know is this, being an addict, I didn't need anybody to break me down. I did a good enough job on my own.
Right.
So what happened with that, they used to feed them chocolates and cakes, and because we used to get our food donated. You know, at lunchtime, then the addicts used to act out. Then we used to put them on a bench with a sign around their neck. So what are we doing? We're causing this, and now you're putting that's ridiculous. So I got rid of all the cakes and candies and all this other stuff, but I didn't tell the staff or the program director. Anyway, all the clients were with it. I explained to them what happens to this, they can act out. I said, would you give your kids chocolates and candies, at night?
Yeah.
No, it won't work too well. Anyway, the program director got pissed off. She didn't get her cake. So I couldn't take it anymore. I just said, that's enough, and I quit. And I was going out with this woman, and she says to me, why don't you open up your own program? I said, I don't want nothing to do with a program.
Yeah.
So the money that I made from the other two companies, I spent because I had a spending addiction. So I had about $300 left. Anyway, I opened up. I didn't want to open up, and she says, no, do it. My friend had a little 750 square foot building. And I asked him, I said, well, how much would it be to rent it? I said, I only got $300. He said, look, John, you don't have to pay me right away. Pay me in 3 months when you make some money. It's $300. That's all you have to pay me a month. So that's what I did, and everybody used to laugh at me because I wanted a different way of looking at addiction, mental health,
Right.
A comprehensive approach, not just a psychological approach. So what I wound up doing was I wound up meeting people that were scientists and researchers, and I met a Dr. Mash, and she is a leading expert on ibogaine, which is a bush from West Africa, who detoxes people, that can detox people in 24 hours from opiates and alcohol and other drugs. And I became an expert in learning from her how to do that. And my program started to fill up. Then I got a partner. my friend Jerry Goldfarb, and then his son, Gerald Goldfarb. Gerald was an expert on the internet at the time, and this was in the 90s.
Oh,
And by the time we were done, we were getting 1,000 calls, 800,000 calls a day.
shit.
We then grew, into a 62-bed facility. One of the clients' father, who was a billionaire, we saved his son's life, or actually his son saved his own life. We helped him, but
Right.
they bought us the buildings.
Mm.
We paid them every month, a healthy thing, 8% on the money, and we grew and we grew and we grew, and we did things that nobody was doing. We did hyperbaric medicine, that's oxygen under pressure that actually can heal damaged brains. And nobody argued with drugs and alcohol damages the brain.
Yeah.
We did massage therapy, but lymphatic massage, that's to get the drugs out of the body on a cellular level. We did colonics to clean the lower intestines. We also did amino acid therapy. We did neurofeedback. We did micronutrient testing. We did gut testing. We did light and sound therapy. We did aromatherapy. We did Ibogaine to get people off of opioids.
And when did you guys stumble across the ketamine one?
Well, no, that's down the line.
Down the line.
Okay, so anyway, I started learning more and more about alternative medicine. I became a leading expert in alternative medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started doing research at my facility with Dr. Blum. He's the geneticist who found the main addiction gene, which is the DRD2 ALE1 variant gene. Now, just because you have the gene doesn't mean you're going to become an addict.
Right.
It means you have the propensity to become an addict. And therefore, such a thing as epigenetics, which means the social environment can change the gene expression. So, it's not a death sentence. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So I got with him on his team, on his research team, and we did research on things that we were doing. So I'm currently in, I think now, about 80 medical and scientific peer-reviewed journals. I work with scientists, researchers, clinicians, geneticists from around 12 universities. And I lecture all over the world. I've lectured to about almost 100 countries. And that's where I winded up. And then in 2012, we sold for $45 million.
Wow.
And if you would have told me that in the beginning, I probably would have punched you in the face thinking you're making fun of me. I'm always punching somebody in the face.
Right.
But anyway, so the bottom line is that when I wrote the book, The Kid from the South Bronx Who Never Gave Up, to show them that no matter what happens to you in your life, doesn't matter. You just keep moving forward, and that's what I did, and that's where I winded up today. And, and after I sold and we made all that money, I kept lecturing, I kept on doing research. I did different television shows and radio shows and, talking about my concept of how to beat your addictions and live a quality life. It's an ongoing life chore, but it's something that you can arrest where you can have a life worth living. And what I mean by that is there's other abnormalities in the body that causes depression and anxiety: low thyroid, leaky gut syndrome, H. pylori infection. These are all gut issues. Mm-hmm. The gut, they're calling now the second brain, which I knew that 20-something years ago. And that's where most of autoimmune diseases come from. And serotonin and dopamine, about 75 to 90% is manufactured in your gut. Then goes up the vagus nerve and deposits it into your brain. Dopamine and serotonin are the feel-good drugs that we manufacture naturally.
Right.
And lack of that causes depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation and all the kinds of things. Mm-hmm. So that's what I lecture about, showing that it's not just a psychological problem, it's a systemic problem, that you have to get the body back in homeostasis, back in balance. Mm-hmm. And now people are looking at it after all these years. So where they used to laugh at me about what I did, now they ask me what I do.
Yeah, you're ahead of your time.
So I got involved in the ketamine because I was lecturing in Taipei, in Taiwan, at a neuroscience conference. and it was 4 scientists lecturing it's about 7 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, about ketamine. And according to them, all right, because it was a club drug, and people had an epidemic in Taipei. So I says, I'm not going near that. I mean, no, it's a club drug, but I don't want to turn addicts into people. But I found out that wasn't necessarily true if you run it the proper way.
Mm-hmm.
Like we do toxicology testing. If you come ketamine in your system, adios, have a nice day.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't get those kind of people. We get the kind of people that are depressed and anxiety. And what ketamine does, it grows new neurons in the brain, new connections in the brain. How do we know? Because we did PET scans, and there's a lot of research on it. That's why they're opening up these clinics. But ketamine, under low doses, ketamine is an anesthetic they use in operations, okay? But under low doses, it turns into similar to a psychedelic,
Right.
and it opens that doorway into your subconscious. And what we do is what is known as integrative therapy for 2 hours, all right, to help them to extrapolate out and understand what they see in their dream state.
Oh shit! Wow.
Okay? Then we offer brain mapping, which is a QEEG, where we put a cap on their head with electrodes, and we measure the electrical output of different quadrants in the brain to show where it's deficient and how we can strengthen those areas,
Right.
which cause depression, OCD, and all these other things. Now, then we offer neurofeedback, which is a way of strengthening those parts of the brain that are deficient. And we offer group therapy for as long as they want to come, no charge.
Wow.
For them and their family. So we do micronutrient testing, we do gut testing, we do NAD+, which is an enzyme that as you get older, it depletes. And what it does, it's the fuel for your mitochondria. Now your mitochondria is the engine for your cells.
Right.
So this is the fuel, like fuel you put in your car. All right? So what it does is it repairs damaged cells and grows new cells and gives you energy and clarity of thought, and also helps with depression and anxiety.
I see.
So we do a multiple of things.
Okay.
We do aesthetics, we do non-invasive, non-surgical facelifting now, where they make a tiny little incision, they stick a fiber optic in there, and they hit it with a laser. It cooks the fiber optic, burns the underlying dermis, tightens up your skin wherever you go, and then in a couple of months creates collagen.
Have you done it yourself personally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 76.
Yeah.
So I keep on working on myself.
Yeah. I mean, you look good, man.
Well, listen,
like-
homie don't play. I'll put it to you that way, okay? First of all, I never believed in do as I say, not as I do.
Okay.
All right? So, and that's what I do.
If you don't mind me intervening, I just want to jump in back to your earlier story. I don't know if you mind sharing at least the
No, go ahead.
the molestation part. I don't know if you mind sharing that.
No,
or
not at all.
I mean, how does that affect? I mean, how did that affect you, like in the long term?
Well, I treat people that, and what happens is some people become sex addiction.
Right.
You view the world a little different. I wasn't sure if I was straight or gay, because a moment in time, it felt good, but just a flash.
Right.
And then the shame and the guilt and all the pain and anguish.
Right.
All right. And it affected me because when I was 12, I had to have a bunch of girls around me all the time. And that went on through most of my life.
Right.
I married 4 times. My father said, keep doing it till you get it right. Well, this time I got it right. I'm with my wife now 28 years, the best woman I ever had in my entire life.
It's good to hear.
And so it doesn't affect you. It affects you in many different ways. Some people carry that guilt and that shame all their life.
Yeah.
I no longer do that. I don't allow it to have power over me anymore, because that's why I share it. And it's in my book. I share that in my book
Right.
too. The best way to dispel that is to not hold on to it. Let it go. Your past are your lessons. Okay? The present is where you grow your new future. Most people, and there are no failures in life, only lessons. All right? Problem with a lot of people is they live in their past, all right? And they keep repeating themselves that they're not enough, not smart enough, not good looking enough, not pretty enough, not all this kind of stuff.
Right.
Okay? And then they live in the future and they get anxious about what could or might happen. So I always tell people, don't believe everything you think.
Right.
All right? It usually doesn't happen.
Well, I mean, I think that's a great way to end the episode. I don't have much else to add. I mean, you gave a great timeline of your story. I don't think I have anything else to add, honestly.
All right. Well, you know, young people like yourself doing what you're doing, interviewing people, maybe, just maybe, you might help one person.
Right.
See, that's how I look at it. I said, one person, all right, I might save a whole family.
Yeah.
You know,
that's true, though.
and you know, and I don't really save anybody. They save themselves. All I do is give them a roadmap. Hey, man, here's the map. You go whatever way you want to go, but this is how it helped me.
Well, actually, if you don't mind me asking, what are you doing at this age? Like I'm guessing you're retired, right? What's your
No,
day-to-day?
retired. I own 3 academy clinics.
Oh, you still okay?
Oh,
that's
yeah.
true. Okay.
I write. I'm writing. I'm going to start writing another book. I lecture all over the world. I go now. It's on Zoom. I just finished an international conference. I have my own podcast.
Yeah.
I'm opening up possibly a treatment center in the Grand Bahamas, and we're raising money for that right now. We're going to be doing ibogaine, ayahuasca, ketamine, MDMA, you know, for substance abuse and micronutrient testing and IVs and all this kind of stuff.
But you never tried psychedelics yourself?
Oh, I've done every psychedelic known to man. I'm a drug addict. What are you kidding? You know, that's like asking a football player. Do you ever play football?
Yeah, I mean, some people have like a limit. They don't hit psychedelics.
Well, I'm not a limited edition.
Okay.
Yeah, but when you do it a different way under medical supervision and with an intent,
right.
with trying to help yourself, not just partying,
Yeah.
you know, and getting high.
Right.
Okay, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure you guys aren't feeding people acid tablets.
And we better get moving. We have a lot of mosquitoes out here.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay.
So I appreciate you, John. Thank you so much.
Hey, man.
Yep. No,
What's in? All right, I'm in. All right.
Take care.
Thanks.
Hope you guys
Yeah,
enjoyed
let me
that.
sign these things for you, and let me get this.